Hi, everyone, and welcome to my presentation on protecting national parkland from commercial use. This issue is important because national parks preserve our natural heritage, provide public recreation, and support biodiversity. Unfortunately, some of these lands are at risk for being opened up to energy exploration and commercial development. Today, I'll walk you through how our federal government can respond to this issue by using its legislative, executive, and regulatory powers. I'll also discuss how political parties, interest groups, and voters influence the process. National parks are so much more than just beautiful places. They're protected for a reason. They safeguard ecosystems, provide clean air and water, and offer spaces for public enjoyment and education. However, over the years, industries such as oil, gas, and mining have pushed to develop resources within or near these lands. According to our textbook on page 217, public lands are managed under a mix of federal rules, and this leaves some parks vulnerable depending on administrative priorities. In the environmental policy video, it was emphasized that when federal protections are rolled back, these parks can face serious threats. This is why it's really essential to understand how the government can step in to keep them safe. Let's start with the legislative process. According to page 315 of our textbook, a bill begins when a member of Congress proposes legislation. For example, if a senator wanted to ban drilling in a national park, they'd write a bill, which would then go to a committee for review. These committees, like the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, can hold hearings, make amendments, and decide whether the bill gets to move forward or not. This was discussed in the How a Bill Becomes a Law video. It's a long process, but that's intentional. It's to allow for debate, input, and compromise. Congress doesn't operate in a vacuum. Interest groups and political action committees, or PACs, heavily influence the legislative process. As we learned on page 388, these groups lobby lawmakers to shape the bills being considered. For example, the Sierra Club might support legislation to protect land, while an energy company might oppose it. In the special interests and lobbying video, we saw that money and organized advocacy can heavily sway decisions. Even voters through protests, social media campaigns, or town halls play a role in pushing lawmakers to act. These influences can either help or hinder efforts to pass laws that protect national parks. The president also plays a key role in protecting national parks. As noted on page 422, presidents can issue executive orders, especially if Congress is stalled. For instance, using the Antiquities Act, several presidents have designated national monuments that later became parks. The executive branch also oversees agencies like the National Park Service and EPA. These agencies create and enforce regulations that can prevent commercial activity. However, the president's power is not unlimited. Congress can respond by passing legislation that reverses those orders or adjusts funding. So, presidential action often sparks a broader debate. On page 431 of our book explains the concept of checks and balances. The framers of the Constitution didn't want one branch to have too much power. That's actually why Congress can limit the president's actions by denying funding or passing a new legislation. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court can rule whether actions taken by Congress or the president are constitutional. For example, if a law restricting park development were passed, it could be challenged in court. This system can create conflict, but it also ensures that no single person or group can make unchecked decisions, especially on something as important as public land. To wrap things up, Protecting national parkland from commercial use is a great example of how different parts of our government must work together. It requires actions from lawmakers, leadership from the president, and input from interest groups and voters. It also shows how democracy isn't just about voting, it's about staying engaged and holding officials accountable. Personally, this issue has made me think more about how I might get involved in my community, even if I don't run for office. Whether it's volunteering, writing to representatives, or simply just staying informed, we all have a part to play in protecting the places that we care so much about.